60% mental and 40% physical.
Math was never our strong suit, but breaking down Ohio State football is. Sit back and join us for BuckeyeGrove Instant Access, part of the Unscripted Ohio Podcast Network.
You can do it!
Brought to you by BuckeyeGrove.com. Post-game thoughts, immediate analysis, and much, much more to put the big game into perspective. Without any further delay of game, here's your host, Kevin Noon.
Kevin, goddammit.
Hey, welcome to the BIA Podcast. I am your host, Kevin Noon. It is Monday, August 2nd, and no Friday news dump here. We now know that Quinn Ewers, former class of 2022 overall number one prospect quarterback out of South Lake Carroll, will now be a member of the class of 2021 as he is going to reclassify, go to Ohio State, and turn a quarterback room that was already going to be pretty good into an even a deeper quarterback room. And of course, you know, that in itself could make things a little bit more complicated because you just don't know. You just don't know what things are going to look like. We've talked about this on a couple of previous podcasts, and, you know, I don't know if we know anything that we didn't know other than the fact that Quinn Ewers is making the move. You know, you don't necessarily know what things are going to look like when he gets here. You don't know, is he going to be able to push? I mean, is he going to be able to push against three quarterbacks that all have more experience in terms of the collegiate side of things than him? But let's remember, none of the four have thrown a collegiate pass. Jack Miller and C.J. Stroud have a year in the system. They had the opportunity to play in game action, but none of them have attempted a pass. None of them have thrown a pass in a collegiate game. Kyle McCord has come in, and he was here for summer, so he has, you know, some time in the system, some time with the playbook, some time with Mickey Marotti, time with Ryan Day, Corey Dennis, what have you. So he has some experience, but then you have Quinn Ewers, this generational talent out of South Lake Carroll, one of those cradles of quarterbacks. I mean, South Lake Carroll just turns out some dudes. I mean, it is what it is. They turn out some dudes, and Quinn Ewers is right there with them, at least in terms of as a high schooler. We can't judge him on what he's going to be because we don't know what he's going to be at this point. We only know what we've seen to this point, and that was good enough to be the number one overall rated recruit, not only in Rivals, but multiple services. So it wasn't just like one service saw him and said, oh, yeah, this kid's really good. Everybody's seen him. And, you know, I don't necessarily understand how some of the other rankings work out there, nor do I pretend to. That's not my job to know how their rankings work. But Quinn Ewers is there as top kid, and now he's heading to Columbus. And the big news there, too, is that, and we haven't even gotten into the NIL ramifications, so I'll get into that here in a couple minutes. He comes in, fall camp starts this week. We get the opportunity to talk to quarterbacks, allegedly, tomorrow. I wouldn't necessarily expect that we're going to be talking to Quinn Ewers tomorrow. We don't know if Quinn Ewers is on campus today or tomorrow. He doesn't have to be here by XYZ date, per se. He probably is not going to be the quarterback marching out there when Ohio State hits Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis to play against Minnesota. So he's not trying to make up a whole offseason here in 4 weeks to try and get into that position. But then again, competitors want to compete. So he probably thinks he's going to come in and do this, that, and the other. But I think, you know, when you read the story with Pete Thamel from Yahoo, he certainly had measured responses there in terms of, you know, I want to come in, I want to learn the system, get comfortable with the system, get comfortable with Ohio State, get comfortable with Columbus. No, that's all well and good, but that doesn't mean that he's just going to come in and be like, all right, well, I'm cool with this. Just give me a visor and a clipboard. He's going to compete, so he's going to push these guys. So that's good in terms of competition. Not that, you know, not that to say that these three guys couldn't be pushed by one another, because they absolutely would be pushed by one another. But now you have a fourth guy in there pushing. And the problem with pushing is that sometimes it pushes guys out. And I have received a lot of messages already today, in the time from where we learned this news to the time we recorded this podcast. Does this mean XYZ's gone? Does this mean ABC's gone? What does this mean in terms of the numbers? Well, we're in some uncharted territory. We see reclassification a lot more in terms of basketball than we do football. Football is not a sport with a ton of reclassification. But yet here we are with Quinn Ewers going from 2022 to 2021. And, there's certainly, there's certainly a lot to look at that. I mean, we could even just go to the point of talking about Ohio State's recruiting for the class of 2021 or 2022. They lose Jaheim Singletary, a 5-star, top 10 type of guy. He decommits, and now Quinn Ewers moves to the class of 2021. Oh no, Penn State's number 1 in terms of team recruiting rankings. Granted, Penn State has more than 20 guys, and Ohio State's down to what now, 14? So Ohio State has a lot of room to gain points there, and I don't think that that's the main takeaway anybody that's going to have today or even tomorrow. I mean, sure, it's a interesting factoid. It's something to talk about. It certainly gets some views on social. But, that's not the main point right there. But what does this mean when you have 4 guys that are all considered true freshmen or freshmen eligibility-wise? Because McCord is a true freshman. Ewers will be a true freshman. And then Miller and Stroud, their season last year doesn't count against the counting timer. So aren't they technically true freshmen as well? It's not like they had to redshirt. Wouldn't they still have 5 years to play for if it's a non-counter altogether? I mean, if we're seeing super seniors out there that are getting 6th and 7th years or whatever, that's a non-counting year. Now, the point is I don't think Ohio State's going to have to wait for anybody to sit there and say, well, I'm going to stick around and play 5, 6 plus years. These guys are all good enough in their own right to be able to lead a program and do what they need to do. So sticking around is not really something that is going to happen. But what happens, what happens in terms of how things shuffle out? I mean, let's call it for what it is. I think a lot of people are expecting CJ Stroud to be the guy this year. So he'll be 2 years through the program after this season, if that's the case. 2 years through, and that's only in terms of the NFL calendar of 3 years and out to be able to go to the league. He'll be a true sophomore coming out of this season. Quinn Ewers technically could be a redshirt freshman if he doesn't play, if they're able to slow him down a little bit, but he's still somebody that, the 3-year calendar is very much in play on. So just because you escape this season as the starter and you would think, well, things would carry over fine, there's going to be a lot of pushing going on. And it's probably highly unlikely that Ohio State's going to get a quarterback commit in 22 now, with 4 guys sitting in 21. Now, of course, this could open up 23. You get a couple years removal. You get 2 guys that are running out of eligibility at that point. Or not out of eligibility, but we could actually go on to the NFL. But then again, if you're not playing, how do you go on to the NFL? So, of course, we all remember Ohio State has benefited from the transfer portal in picking up Justin Fields. Ohio State has seen somebody get away in terms of the transfer portal with Joe Burrow. It's just going to be quarterback roster management moving forward. I'm not saying that we're going to be seeing a lot of guys moving up to reclassify. I mean, that kind of takes a bit of a perfect storm of having your academics in line in terms of the eligibility center and everything else. And in Pete's story, he did say that Quinn had 1 class left that he was finishing up online, and it should be done in time for fall camp, which starts again this week. But I think a lot of it, too, has to deal with name, image, likeness. And Quinn already has people reaching out to him, already had people reaching out to him. They can reach out. He couldn't sign anything as a high schooler in the state of Texas. Texas UIL does not allow for name, image, likeness for its athletes. That's just how the law was written. And let's remember, every law is probably written a little bit differently, but the vast, vast, vast majority of laws are written to where high schoolers cannot benefit there. Now, Quinn had a kombucha company that not only wanted to offer money, but wanted to offer a percentage of the company. I mean, there's going to be a lot of things there. When you look at Bryce Young at Alabama, who hasn't really played, and according to Nick Saban, he could be approaching 7 figures. That's $1 million for those of you that don't want to count commas this year. Quinn Ewers could easily be in that discussion. I mean, sure, Bryce Young's a little bit older, has been within a program, but if Quinn Ewers really is this generational second coming, then why couldn't he? And it's not really necessarily about the money. It is, but it isn't. You know, I don't want to get into anybody's personal situation or whatever. Southlake is an affluent suburb of Dallas, up by DFW Airport. Really, you know, I don't think it's a case of where, you know, this is going to be money that's going to make it to where Quinn is going to be able to live a decent quality of life. You know, his family's done quite well. It's more of a principle, though. The money's there to be had. The rules are kind of all over the place. Why not? Why not get on board with this and do it? Now, of course, you know, we see people all the time saying, well, why would you want to give up on high school and give up on prom and your senior season and a state championship or whatnot? And I certainly understand all of that, but I don't know. Remembering being, 18 years old and winning or earning $1 million, my first $1 million. They always say that the second $1 million is easier than the first $1 million. You've already earned your first $1 million. I mean, that I could go without prom for that. I certainly wouldn't want to let down my high school teammates or whatever, but I think everybody understands that Quinn is out there making real grown-up decisions at this point. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's not, disappointing for them. They'll just plug somebody else in. I had the chance to go to their practice and saw their backup, and while he wasn't Quinn Ewers, he wasn't bad as well. I mean, so, it may be a little bit diminished for Southlake Carroll this year, but, for Quinn, it's just an opportunity to be able to come in and compete. And if he doesn't get in there this year, then so be it. Again, he'll have a year to learn, to develop. This isn't going to be a case of him coming in January and coming in and being all wide-eyed during winter conditioning and spring ball. He'll have gone through a season. Now, with that being said, Ohio State has to play the game of they don't want to be in a situation where they put all the snaps in one guy's hands and then something happens there and then they're toast. But with that being said, none of these guys have played a ton of collegiate football, so you're going to need to put a lot of snaps in somebody's hands. So, I think it's a situation of where Quinn comes in, pushes these guys, definitely comes in getting fourth team snaps, which it means he's going to be running a lot of fun scout team stuff, but certainly he's going to get an opportunity. But then it brings into the question, what happens if Quinn gets into a game this year, garbage time or what have you, and looks really good? We know how fans can be. He was 8 of 9 for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns and ran for this. Why aren't we playing him more? I mean, so that certainly creates a bit of a logjam too. And it's going to really be on Ryan Day and Corey Dennis and the entire coaching staff to try and navigate this. I mean, what are the chances that all 4 quarterbacks that are on the roster are on it next year? Probably slim. I'm not going to name any names. There's no reason to do that. We just don't know. I've said it time, and I've said it time again. When was the last time a team needed a third quarterback to win a national? Oh, that's right. That's right. And again, that was very different circumstances, and circumstances, are never the same. There's not a carbon copy from this year to that year or whatever. So, we just don't know. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Well, we got about 15 minutes. I just wanted to talk about it here in an immediate reaction. We're going to let this sink in. We're going to talk to the quarterbacks on Tuesday. We'll certainly get a chance to talk to Corey Dennis unless Ohio State changes things up. We'll kind of get some thoughts there, and we will come back with another podcast with our thoughts from that. So, once again, I'm your host, Kevin Noon. Thanks for listening to BIA, and have a great day.
Be sure to stay up to date with Buckeye Grove Instant Access when the news breaks or after the big game. Exclusively at BuckeyeGrove.com or anytime on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher as part of the Unscripted Ohio Podcast Network. Hit that subscribe button so you can stay in the know and never miss a single episode.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to click on that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing, and come visit us over at BuckeyeGrove.com for all the best Ohio State information on the web.